Welcome to the experience. We're so glad to have you. If you would take a second and just let us know in the comments where you're watching from, we would really appreciate it. And while you're off doing things, go ahead and like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss the next episode of the experience. I will also extend the invitation for you to join the Facebook group linked in the description below. That group is specifically created so that we can talk about every episode of the experience together and really get involved beyond just watching the video each week. Tonight, Pastor Kimberly will be joining us from the Bluebird Farm Park that's located in Carrollton, Ohio. It's a beautiful, beautiful getaway and it's just outside of town. After Pastor Kimberly's message, we will have some discussion questions. Those questions just offer an opportunity for us to really take the message and apply it in our own lives. After the discussion questions, we will have one song led by the Bridge Band. That's our band from our satellite campus, The Bridge. And if online worship isn't really your thing, then you can go ahead and skip the song and we will just see you next week. Thank you again, and I hope you enjoy.
Hi, it's Pastor Kimberly, and I'm joining you today from the Bluebird Park here in Carrollton, Ohio. This is just one of the parks that the Carroll County Park District manages and owns, and I would encourage you that if you get a few moments to come out and enjoy some of the hiking and some of the beautiful scenery that is around us. The Carroll County Park District does a phenomenal job at maintaining these parks and a lot of variety of offerings to our local community. But as I stand here today and I look around, I can't help but notice and see the beauty of God and all of his creation. I mean, we've got a beautiful babbling brook behind us. We've got a beautiful redbud tree next to us. And of course, there's a lot of also some really cool architectural features as you notice the covered bridge that is behind me in the background. But as we look at all these beautiful things, and even now as I look forward, I can see squirrels scampering across the lawn. I can't help but to just feel at peace in the beauty of what God has created. And I don't know about you, but as I think about all that I have going on as we're into this fall season and the leaves are slowly starting to come down from the trees around me, and someone pointed out that we're just a few short months away from Christmas. And of course, the kids are now back into full swing of school mode and we're dealing with sports schedules. There are days that I just can't help but feel stressed. And I know some of you are probably in the same boat and you might be thinking, that's a trick question. Like, really? Do you think we get stressed? But the reality is we all get stressed. We all become overwhelmed. We all feel like the pressures of the world are pushing down upon us. And sometimes we're not sure what the relief is from those pressures and from that stress. And where's a good, safe outlet? And how can we handle what's going on in our world? So I want to ask you today, as we move closer and closer to Christmas and all of the things of the world come crashing down around you, what is it that makes you stressed? And how do you handle that stress in a healthy way? Well, I want to share with you, as we are here in nature, that this is one of my favorite ways to deal with stress. And I would recommend this highly to you, that you can come here and, as I mentioned just a few seconds ago, enjoy the walking trails, do some bird watching, maybe have a picnic over in the beautiful picnic shelter, enjoy a wonderful concert at the amphitheater that is just here over to my right. Or maybe just find a wonderful bench that are placed so wonderfully around all the different trails and all the areas that we have here, and just be in peace and calmness with God. Sit, listen, and allow God to speak to you. Allow God to calm you. Allow the sounds of the birds singing to bring you peace. Allow the waters flowing to bring you calmness. Have you ever noticed that no matter how stressful the day may be, God continues to remain faithful? God never changes. He never leaves us. Often we don't recognize he's with us because of the stress, because of the busyness, because of the way the world is. But he's always there. And he confirms his presence He confirms that he's with us through his creation, through his beauty, through nature. So how do we see God in nature? Well, as we said just a second ago, stop and listen. Stop and be present as the birds are chirping, as the stream is babbling, as the squirrels are chasing each other. Seeing God in nature can help pull us out of that depression. It can calm our fears, and it can encourage us even in our toughest trials. I want you to stop and think for just a moment about some things that we often take for granted. The reality that the sun rises and the sun sets, no matter what day you have had. No matter how crazy, no matter chaotic it is, the sun rises and the sun sets. If you've ever been to the beach, the tide goes in, the tide goes out. No matter what your day has looked like, the tide goes in and the tide goes out. Those are just a few examples of the many, many, many ways God is consistent, God is faithful, and God is true. We just need to train our senses to recognize the presence of God, to acknowledge the presence of God, and to allow God to comfort us and to provide comfort. If you listen very carefully, you might even hear some of those sounds of nature around me as I share this message with you today. Just being here, just feeling the breeze through my hair helps me to feel calm. It helps me to feel more complete. It helps me to feel closer to God. So I challenge you today, I ask you today, what would it take for you to train your senses to recognize God? What would it take to train your senses to recognize God? What would it take for you to allow God to calm you and to take away the stress of life? I pray that as you journey through your week, you will see God in the big and in the small, and that you will take time to allow God to come into your life, to wash away the stress, and to bring you peace. God bless.
One day when heaven was filled with his praises, one day when sin was as black as could be, Jesus came forth to be born of a virgin, dwelt among men, my example is he. Word became flesh and the light shined among us, his glory revealed. Living he loved me, dying he saved me, buried he carried my sins far away, rising he justified, freely forever. One day he's coming, oh glorious day, oh glorious day. One day they led him up Calvary's mountain, one day they nailed him to die on a tree, suffering anguish, despised and rejected, bearing our sins, my Redeemer is he. Living, he loved me. Dying, he saved me. Buried, he carried my sins far away. Rising, he justified freely forever. One day he's coming, oh glorious day, oh glorious day. One day the grave could conceal him no longer. One day the stone rolled away from the door. Then he arose, over death he had conquered. Now he's ascended, my Lord evermore. Death could not hold him, the grave could not keep him. Rising again, rising again. Living, he loved me. Dying, he saved me. Buried, he carried my sins far away. Rising, he justified freely forever. One day he's coming, oh glorious day, oh glorious day, glorious day. One day the trumpet will sound for his coming. One day the skies with his glories will shine. Wonderful day, my beloved one, bringing my Savior Jesus is mine. Living, he loved me. Dying, he saved me. Buried, he carried my sins far away. Rising, he justified freely forever. One day he's coming, oh glorious day, oh glorious day, glorious day, glorious day, glorious day.
Thank you so much for joining us for this week of The Experience. We've loved having you. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and go ahead and join that Facebook group so that we can really connect and get to know one another. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.